Hello everyone, it's Isaiah Williams at Esports Tonight, and we're at the Lockstep Technology Group, and we're going to be talking about infrastructure, server management, and of course cybersecurity, and we'll be asking questions about how it works and how it all started. So stay tuned and watch till the end.
Welcome aboard as we tour Lockstep Technology Group's Baton Rouge location. This branch is anchored by a state-of-the-art data center that supports local government, education, healthcare, and other organizations in our community.
As we come through here, you're going to get a rare glimpse at my switch room. This is my part of the data center that has power throughout the rest of the heart. It provides the internet to the co-location racks, which remember I said I'd tell you about, and the power distribution for the main part of the building. Again, biometrics. Watch the slide table. Normally do not video the... You'll see that the analysts have this kind of their war room. When something goes down, they come in here, they brainstorm, they assess the threat, they form a plan for our customers, and then they implement the solutions that protect all of our clients.
So what kind of services do people run out of your data racks?
We're just going to put that down here. So again, we offer different services in the fact that we provide a sandbox for the company who asked for it. If you were to rent servers from me, I would give you the ability to run any services you want to within reason. There are some that we do not support. We don't do anything with risky stuff. That's kind of in our contract. But any service that you would like to run out of your machines is up to you. That's why we call it a sandbox. So we have customers that do data retrieval, we have customers that do websites, we have customers that do online registration services for schools. So if you were to go to LSU and get the school attendant system, I think they call it Archie, that is also something that we could support out of here.
Have y'all ever had a day of downtime since your arrival?
No, since we went online in 2014, the data center has never gone dark, so to speak.
It's impressive.
Yes, planning
what does it
and
take
luck.
during like a hurricane or something like that, Louis, to make sure that that happens?
The generators and UPSs have a hybrid function. They not only they not only meter the power, but they also supplement the power. When a system comes online, it draws a certain amount of voltage. That voltage is recorded and maintained, and therefore the UPS continues to put that out while the generator kicks in after the power goes out. We also power all of the racks that support the providers so that AT&T's rack doesn't go dark, taking our internet away.
It's a very complex system you have here to keep everything in running order.
It takes constant maintenance. The older gentleman who let your friend in is Mark. He is the facilities manager. He takes care of all the mechanics around the building. Remember that I said that there are many people who add up to the building. One of them is the guy who takes care of all the mechanical things, like the AC, the generators, and even the doors.
It's impressive. How cold would you say is it in one of your server rooms?
The set point on most of my AC units is 63 degrees. We like to maintain no more than 65, even in the in-between. Therefore, we never have to worry about it.
How cold is your room, Louis?
60. It's a much smaller room. I keep my room cold because then I'm never cold when I go into the data center. It's actually warmer than my room. What else we got for questions?
He's gonna swap.
You wanna get in, John?
I'll get some Chick-fil-A.
I'm gonna get after you, John.
I got some questions after.
So I'm kind of curious, how much does it cost to like uptake this whole building, like in costs?
In maintenance alone, it probably takes about $1 million a year.
And like, what do you think would be like the main contributor to that?
Cost-wise, it's always going to be power.
Power.
Power drives not only the consumption at the CPU and GPU and all the other levels of storage, but it also drives your cooling. So you need power to not only supply to the customers, but you need power to keep the building cold. You need power to control everything in the building. Power is always your largest consumption as far as a monthly or yearly cost.
Okay.
Second only to internet access, but that's at the whim of your provider. How much you charge based on how much you ingest. So when you think about the fact that some people now have fiber to their homes, we had fiber 10 years ago. Nowadays we have much larger pipes, and our average internet cost per month can be as high as 15 grand.
15 grand. You get some pretty fast speeds though, right?
Yes. So if you take the average fiber home is anywhere from 100 to 300, sometimes as much as 500 megs access. We go gig access. We have 10 gig pipes from providers, not the 100.
Wow.
So, but we have a lot of people to provide that internet too.
So it kind of gets like evened out a little.
It's actually metered. Everyone is guaranteed a certain bandwidth to their rack or to their IaaS instance.
Okay.
It's in the contract, but we do what's called bursting. If for some reason you need more than you have bought, we on a temporary basis grant that to you rather than cutting you off. If you continue to use that burst, then we'll have a conversation about a longer term contract at a higher rate.
So when it comes to your server rooms, is there like a set amount that somebody can reserve?
It depends on price. You can have 1 rack, you can have 10 racks. I used to do quarter racks, but I have found that those are not really profitable to my company, so I only do full racks at this point.
And when it comes to, do you have like a certain like limit on what type of data storage or what type of server access just the average person would want to have access to?
So if you're talking about the IaaS, there's a standard package that comes with 3 servers and 500 gigs of data space. That's a small one. Then you go up to 10 servers with 1 terabyte of data space. That's all rental of IaaS equipment. Now, as far as the racks, it depends on what the density of the equipment you bring in is. If your equipment fits in the rack, it can be there. So we don't control that density.
So assuming that we brought in the hardware too, because there's a plan we have for the future to run a Minecraft server. If we had the correct equipment that fit in there, would you guys be able to run that 24/7 for us?
Yes. We do that for folks every day.
Okay.
All right, so first I'm starting is, when does it actually start, like Lockstep? How does it start as a company-wise?
So we actually started as a previous company known as Ascendant back in, I want to say, 2010. Ascendant was actually a web server company. We did websites. But then everybody did websites. And when everybody does something, the margin or the profit of doing that goes down.
Yes.
So we wanted to grow, we wanted to do better. So then we transferred from Ascendant to Transformix. Transformix has a much bigger name in the Baton Rouge area, and still to this day, people call us Transformix. If you look up the Google address, it's going to say Transformix. Transformix started with the 5 of us, or the 5 partners and the 3 techs. So there were 8 people back in the beginning. I was one of those. The gentleman with the Nerf gun downstairs, Josh Million, was also one of those.
Sounds like a great guy.
So he and I were some of the very first techs that worked for the company. We morphed from being a web server company to being a service company, which meant we went out and helped people with their tech. If you remember, I was saying that I helped to do the refits at EBR in their computer room. They would hire us to come in and help with that specialty, get it in line, help train the people who were going to run it, and put in what they call best practices. So these are the most efficient ways that all the people in the industry have found to do a thing.
Question. Any accomplishments y'all have over the past 10 to 14 years, am I correct?
Like those behind you?
Certifications or attestations, and they really just go down to standardizing the security of our services. So everything from, I guess to back up, right? If you're going to deliver service for one client one way, you have to be able to do it standardized if you're going to scale that from one client to 10 to 20 to 30 to 300. And so the way in which you attest that you do it in a standardized, secure, best practices manner is going through something like a SOC 2 or SOC 1 certification. And so this is really just the attestation on some of the years that we've achieved such certification.
So basically, we build a fortress, and every now and again we fire those up on the mantle.
Can you give a description of each one?
A lot of
Come on, it's interview.
a lot of those are basically performance-based, review-based, magazine-based. We've gotten a lot of accolades from our peers, and I would have to go through each one of those to really tell you what they are. I don't bring my head up to the award level. I'm kind of the under the hood fellow, and I keep a low profile, but we are proud of all of our awards, and even across the counter there are even more.
But so I got my start in the military, right, and learned how to work with various technologies there, right? So through a couple of different stops in the military for 8 or so years, learning on everything from Novell switching to a couple other technologies a little bit more relevant these days. But just learning and getting firsthand knowledge of running an enterprise scale network at the age of all of 21 years old, right? You can't really replicate that if you just graduate high school. You're not very often going to be in charge of that scale of a network that quickly. So did 8 years in the military, got out, worked in enterprise security for the last 9 or so years, coming up on 9 years, so in Baton Rouge.
What about the benefit of having some of those other technology experiences and then bringing it into cybersecurity?
Yeah, the background and understanding the technology that you're going to be charged with securing is incredibly helpful. A lot of folks these days I'm finding are graduating college in cybersecurity and then joining cybersecurity in the workforce, but they don't actually understand how a network or a server operates yet. And so whenever you're talking about changing a configuration or patching this or changing an architecture, if you don't actually understand what that architecture does and how it operates at a base level, it's going to be very difficult to talk with your counterparts on educated and talk about changing that configuration or doing this or understanding the real impact. Louis talked about earlier about learning the help desk and learning kind of people, the issues that everybody's are facing day to day. And one of the things that is often lost in security is the user impact. And just whenever I change this, a user is no longer going to be able to scan to print anymore, or scan to email anymore. And to a security person, you're like, I don't care. But if you understand, if you've ever taken those calls from those help desk users, you don't want to have to be the person on the other line that wants to tell a user that's done that for 20 years that they can no longer do that. And so unless you've lived that life, it's a lot harder to have that empathy whenever you're making changes.
Did you guys get to see the security operations center yeah. So Did y'all like show them anything fancy, or they just kind of walked through?
Just kind of walk
saw
through.
the
Louis
space?
talked to it for a minute.
Because one of the things that I think is cool is when we go to conferences, they present, and we get to see the dark web safely. Safely get to see the dark web.
You never know what you're going to run across.
Yeah.
So far, it's been safe.
Yeah.
That's a wrap from Lockstep Technology Group in Baton Rouge. From cybersecurity to server infrastructure, today's tour showed just how deep the tech world goes and how students like you can step into it. LASEF. Play, learn, lead. Louisiana's future starts here.